Y'all know how I love a theme and love perspectives within a theme. So I have three. The first is I would go with, we can call it sexy. It's called Be My Valentine. Be my motivation. Match my ambitions to be more. No hesitation. Understand that all the time spent debating and waiting leads to the highway of what ifs most travel while aging. Where's the fun in that? I'd rather fall ass flat. Better to try and fail than wonder what if when I think back. Be my intuition. Seek my sight for permission. Equalized in submission, collectively hear and pay attention. Beautiful complication. Nothing's perfect in this equation, but it's not about persuasion or as simple as love making. Be my support, meaning whatever we lack, we build upon with force. Convert our shortcomings into roots prepared to fertilize. Allow ourselves to be hypnotized by imagination that's bound to rise. Be my posture difference when my vision is blurred, as I shoulder your tears and absorb every word of triumph, of pain. Our pillars built through turbulence, growth incited by strain, cemented in brightness, decorated in laughter, accented by adventure, distorted by disaster. You feel that? Every part. I don't want what's replaceable. I seek the depth of your heart. Be my reality, unsure of destination, confused anticipation of our map's next illustration. The love only true eyes can see, beyond a face, deeper than desire. We can easily be lusted, but only love is admired. Be my chase lounge when I'm anxious, my center when I'm neurotic, my pest when I'm bratty. Let's explore all topics. Tell me the truth. Be engaged. Really look at me. Reframing our mindsets together. No longer me, but we. Support our light in dark spaces. What's real is never easy. It's always aggravating. I'm going to get on your nerves and you're going to pluck mine. Exposing our resentments, but they're yours and mine. To be shared with one another as we educate and teach, climbing over boundaries we alone could never reach. Be my sugar when I'm salty, as I balance out your flavor. Savory boldness and spice. To one another we cater with understanding that we chose to be perfectly imperfect. We decided that blood, sweat, and tears were all worth it. Portraits painted in dysfunction, each stroke by our design. From introduction to epilogue, each page a direct line to our intertwined stories maturing over time. Our grape squeezed by curiosity, fermented soul quenching wine. Our uglies, our pretties, my delight, your divine. Our opposites invoke togetherness. You, I, my Valentine.
Top tier. Where did that idea come from to take on Valentine in that way?
Honestly, selfishly, this one was just like sunning somebody. Like, because people are so superficial in how they approach things. And I'm not a superficial person. Like, I'm always in depth, pretty deep. So that's pretty much why. Like, when you're underestimated, you overachieve, basically.
True indeed.
That speaks of the challenge, I think, for people that are high level and that are moving from a heart and a spiritual place, is that superficiality. You I've struggled with that, where and I think because of that, my own perceptions and then creating it, I have a low expectation of others, because I'm like, it don't exist. What I'm looking for doesn't exist, but obviously now I've changed my belief system to it does exist, and they are there waiting for me, and I'm waiting for, we just synchronicity.
Right.
Yeah.
Love, love, love. I would like to veggie back off of that. Sister Caroline, my sister Spice. I share the same sentiment, except I was always waiting. I just knew we would be together. It's like, I don't know, from even as a child, I've always longed for people who were on my spiritual and loving and my level of depth of humane humanity and thought. And I really don't have that in people that I interact with physically every day, you know. But I knew there were people, deities such as us, that would eventually find each other. And I have always longed for that. And I knew that the rest of the world beyond who we are was on that whoa. You know what I mean? So I share the same sentiment, except I was patiently waiting. And I'm so happy that we have found each other.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah, it always goes back to your set of beliefs and what you're creating. And our set of beliefs go back, you know, if I go back to childhood and think about my childhood and my perceptions of men, that shaped a belief system. And I've had to change that belief system. So it's always that ownership of self. It goes back to me. It's easy to go you, but you get what you believe, don't you? That's an amazing piece. Carry on. Sorry, sister.
No, all good. Just let me know if I run out of time because I may not be able to do all three. But speaking of self-love, that is actually the title of the next one. I understand how you feel. You want to send something real, a tangible closeness with no need to conceal. Kinship, friendship, relationship, unsure of it. All seem at arm's length, pending they mature a bit. Or maybe it's you, so afraid that you'll get hurt. Fearing your self-worth will suffer from shared dirt. Dug up in hopes to lead in building a bond. Leery your truth will boomerang into self-harm. It's happened before. Don't want to see it again. Distance cuts and the knife still twists when it ends. But you still want to know what it's like to consistently experience the joy of living free of dependency on hopes and dreams without examples of truth, like or love without conditional detriment to you. Seems fantastic, but you can't seem to grasp it. Second guessing your habits, so you tried something drastic. Came to a stranger to review your behavior instead of asking someone known to do you this favor. Every person is different, so we'll stick with simplicity. Pay attention to tendency. Are they actively listening? Are connections one sided, or have you thought to inquire on your wants and desires to avoid quagmires? It starts with you. Do you know your worth? Have you done soul work to figure out where you hurt? Do you notice compassion or submit to your baggage? Sometimes learning your habits can help you to grasp it. That 8 letter word that people treat like an option. Reasons why neglect and disrespect are so common. INTIMACY. Doesn't happen if both parties don't know how to try. Communication is sacred. Vulnerability is key. Spending time can help define all wants and needs. Closeness, connecting emotionally, the foundational must-haves for what you seek. I understand what you think. You should be beckoning, but you need to make yourself at all times a necessity. Love. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Nah, you a poet for real. Like you're not even just a poet, you're an artist. Like when I mean in every sense of the word artistry, like just being able to put together the words that you do with the meaning and them having dual meaning and the way you're able to play with them is just to me it's that's how deep I like to go when I write. Like I want to get to the point where I could articulate myself on deeper levels, you know what I'm saying, while still being able to communicate with everybody. You understand what I'm saying? Like I don't know how to explain it, but that is yo, and you got bars too. Like
I
yeah,
appreciate,
you
I
got
appreciate. And
bars.
also, by the way, you already do, because Look at You was fired. Truthfully.
Yeah.
Have more faith in what you do already because your vibe is definitely something special, but I appreciate you. This
Yeah,
is my
thank you.
love language, man.
Yeah, that I'm like, dang, she's sitting there talking about me, like, like it'd be the fear of it'd be your fear of yourself. It'd be your self fear of your own worth that projects into your relationships and other things. And I know from myself, like when you was speaking, I'm like, dang, she's sitting there talking about me. Like I've sabotaged situations because I've already expected it to turn out a certain type of way
Yeah.
because of what I felt like. I don't know, maybe what I felt like I deserved or what I felt like, what I'm saying, the level that I was at and whatever the reasons and whatever fears I had. I know that I've sabotaged relationships to, what I'm saying, so that I could feel like not hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Because,
I've
what
done
I'm
the
saying?
same. Oh yeah.
So, yeah, I had to do a lot of self reflecting and dealing, going through a lot of the emotions. So when that one really right there was really dope. I love that one.
Appreciate you. Thank you. This last one is based on our five senses, and it is called senses. I don't want to fall in love. I want to grow and like, I want to love what I see before we hit the sheets at night. Stimulate imagination, expound on your thoughts, paint a picture of your character from what your life has taught. Of course, from what you've seen, but also from what you've done, where you've grown, where you failed, when you've had the most fun, and why. Details matter while picking up the pieces, shedding unforeseen light on the depth of one's features. Frontal, temporal, occipital, parietal, connected cerebellum, seeing all that is viable, hearing all that is challenging, touching all that is painful, feeling all the recollections that combine to shape you. The bitterness of experience, making room for sour choices, umami and projection of sweet and salty voices, each scented by vibrational pulls of the moment, a heady elixir of all your components. It's easy to be drawn into perceptions of flesh. What's hard is the aftermath. There's no thought of what's next. What happens after you cross the boundary of sex? Who's left to hold on to after balancing checks? Sacrificing dignity under the guise of respect, passing unhealed wounds to children for certifying neglect. Hindsight of 2020 is as clear as mud, but we continue to choose it by continuing to judge, seeing only what we want so all the chosen pieces fit, leaving our oddities to wander for a place to exist. In confusion, arguments, fights based on secrets that were there all along, but they had to compete with unshared boundaries, blinded by passion, hidden by fears that something negative would happen, shielded by wonder, deflected by time, allowing parts of ourselves to be left behind, only to realize the consequence of winning, sacrificing truth from the very beginning. I don't want to fall in love while digging myself out of a ditch, questioning myself about the person that I'm with. I'd rather start the journey embracing all dimensions, walking through pastures instead of breaking fences, cultivating a bond by letting down our defenses, discovering strength when conversation gets pensive, releasing angst while embracing what shifted, understanding my person by learning all of their senses. Appreciate y'all. That was it.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Lyrics. And like I say, I love to go over it because you hear it the first time, but you really hear it when you
Let
listen
it
to it.
marinate.
Yeah, because you just got so much in there. You know what I mean? And I love your wordplay. Your wordplay is supreme
Thank
and
you. I appreciate it.
sublime.
Thank you. This is called the Valuing You. Instead of viewing life as a funeral, view yourself as in utero, gestating, elevating into a garden that you can grow. Pursuing both healing and revealing, understanding, demanding, rebranding to improve your standing. It's also key to note you should do it for yourself. If you try for someone else, your true purpose hits the shelf. In the back behind the clutter of your thoughts and mental health, with no room to think, breathe, or scream or cry for help. Ask yourself, was it worth it? Making all those excuses, procrastinating daily because you can't think through it. Thinking all is fruitless, unaware of how you're moving, digging holes until they show that your thoughts have been proven. True, but it's all based on you, ignoring all cues designed to change your point of view. As above, so below. This is something you know. If you think it with agreement, that seed will surely grow and continue to do so until you replant. Look in the mirror, rebrand. It's not too late to enhance. We often make the mistake of leaning into I can't instead of seeing ourselves and embracing I am. Both light and dark. Don't run away from your story. Both sides collide when provide your allegory. The shadows may be thick, but you're more than equipped to navigate your path and illuminate it. It's not about tricks. There's no quick fix, and you can't run away or battle it. Follow it to freedom of your consciousness. If you're tired of the bleeding, there's a pathway to stitch all your open wounds, and you don't have to forget, because the same wounds you stitch become empowerment. Society will tell you there's no point. Family will say that you're bound to disjoint. Friends will ride the fence either for or against, unsure of themselves with this predicament. This is a solo mission. Please learn that early. It's up to you to see yourself as capable and worthy. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. You got to get this book done, girl.
I'm working on it. Promise. I'm in the middle of it. It's been a
Yeah.
lot of fun. Yeah.
We need to read these lyrics like Synthonia said. And if we can hear it on an audio, like she also said, Synthonia, the czar of knowledge. If we on point, on point. Yeah, that was as always perfection.